It is Tuesday, December 12th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life with me, Matt Modi, giving you my favorite NBA player props for the day. We're talking today's NBA betting slate, Tuesday, December 12th, and I have my 4 favorite NBA player props for you guys to lock in. Before we can get into today's picks, I do need to do a recap from yesterday, which unfortunately was not one of our best days. It wasn't terrible. I gave out another 4 picks. One of those players ended up not playing, so we just had that one refunded. On the 3 that actually were played, I went 1 and 2 on those 3 picks, down 0.8 units. Cade Cunningham was one of the plays that I lost. That one really hurt. I had him to score 25 plus points. He had 13 in the first quarter. He had 21 heading into the fourth quarter, ended with 23. That sucked. I thought that was going to be a cash for us, but it wasn't. Luckily, on the season, we're still squarely in the green, having a pretty good year on these NBA player props. We are up 14.16 units of profit since the beginning of the NBA season with an ROI of 12.48%. Pretty good. I hope to get that ROI back up to the 15% that it was, but we will take 12.48% ROI. If you're not already, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get notified whenever new plays drop. And let's get into today's pick. So the first play that we're going to go ahead and lock in here in the Lakers versus Mavs game is Anthony Davis under 26.5 points, plus 105 odds at ESPN Bet. This is going to sound scary because of how well Anthony Davis played recently, including in the in-season tournament, but that's kind of why I'm taking him to go under. This is mostly a play on the Lakers post-in-season tournament run, who clearly put a lot of effort and energy into winning the postseason tournament, which is not me clowning them. That's not me dogging them. Good for them. I thought it made it really fun how much the Lakers cared and how much they wanted to win it. That also makes me think that they're due for a little bit of a regression and a cold streak in their first game back after the victory, and specifically for Anthony Davis. At this point in his career, Anthony Davis is an inconsistent scorer. His defense is always going to be phenomenal, but he's not someone you can rely on to score on a nightly basis like you can with some other superstars. On the year, he's gone over 26.5 points in exactly half, 11 of 22 games. But he did score exactly 27 4 of those times. So hovering right around that number, just a couple things go differently. That's an under, but obviously still counts as an over. Another thing that I liked about this under, looking into the stat, is so 11 times Anthony Davis has gone under 26.5 points. In 9 of those 11 games, he did not even get to 20 points. And in 2 games, he didn't even get to double digits. He scored single digits in 2 games this year. Now, as I mentioned, he has been on a hot streak recently. He's hit this number in 4 of his last regular season games, and if you include the in-season tournament championship game, which technically is not count as a regular season game, he's hit it in 5 of 6 games. In that final game, the championship game, he scored 41 points in 41 minutes on 16 of 26 shooting. Very good game. Granted, that was the final, and that was against a Pacers defense that is literally among the worst in the entire NBA. Total joke of a defense. The Mavericks defense isn't great, but they're not in the same stratosphere as horrible as the Pacers. These 2 teams played earlier this year, the Lakers and the Mavs. AD scored 10 points. I wouldn't be surprised if he had another game in which he scores under fewer than 20 points post in-season tournament run. So if you want to keep taking a deflated under, you can. Obviously, we're only going to track whether he goes under 26.5, but if you really want to get spicy, however low the books will allow you to take his under, I don't think is a horrible play. That's our first play. Next up, in the Cavs versus Celtics game, I'm taking Kristaps Porzingis under 6.5 rebounds, plus 108 odds at Caesars. So it's my second play. It's another under play, but I will say it's my final under play of the day. We're not taking another under. The next 2 are both overs, but I really, really do love this play, and I love fading Kristaps Porzingis' rebounds, taking him to go under, again, under 6.5. Now, KP has been good this year. This is not me saying that you should fade him as a player or fade the Celtics. Obviously, he's been good. The Celtics have been good. But his role on the team, they're just not relying on him as a rebounder. He's 4th in the team on rebounds with 3 guys above him. Now, keep in mind, he's the center. The team's starting point guard, and Jrue Holiday averages more rebounds than Kristaps Porzingis, as does Jason Tatum, who's a forward and a good rebounder, so that makes sense, as does Al Horford, who's a power forward, also a good player, good rebounder, so that also makes sense. But what that means is that, again, he's 4th in the Celtics in terms of rebounds per game. And then behind him, Jaylen Brown averages 5 rebounds per game. Derek White averages 4 rebounds per game. The Celtics are a very good team, rebounding team. They have one of the best in terms of rebound efficiency, rebound percentage in the NBA. That means everybody rebounds, which means not a lot for Kristaps Porzingis specifically. On the year, he's only gone over this number in 7 of 16 games, and he's missed it in his last 3 as well. Another reason why I like this play is both of these teams play at a below average pace, which just means that there are not going to be as many possessions, which means that there's not going to be as much just raw stats in general. Now, neither of them play at a super snail's pace, but they're both below average. So for all those reasons, I really like Kristaps Porzingis to go under 6.5 rebounds, especially for plus money odds. I think there's a lot of value there. Next up, same game, Cavs, Celtics. Finally, we're getting to some overs. We're taking Derek White, 15 plus points, plus 105 odds at FanDuel. So splash zone play. We're expecting Derek White to get us wet tonight. He's been awesome this year. He's been really, really good. I don't think that the casual NBA fan, or even the pundits that talk a lot about the NBA, like the TNT and stuff like that, I don't think they realize how good Derek White is and how good he's been for the Celtics. Might be their most consistent player in terms of like what you're getting on a nightly basis. Derek White probably is their most consistent player. I'm not saying he's their best, obviously, just their most consistent in terms of, again, making the right play consistently and what you're getting on a nightly basis. Now, I will admit, he's been playing so well recently that does make me a little bit scared about this one, a little bit nervous, because everybody knows, or if you don't know, and if you're new, I generally love fading recent events. That's kind of my betting strategy, which has worked wonders for me. Derek White, this is not a fade of recent events. He scored 15 or more points in 5 of the last 6 games he's played in, and in the 1 game he missed, he had exactly 14, so just under this number. Now, that 14 points was in less than 30 minutes of play, as the Celtics just had a complete blowout. But still, he's been playing really well. And then looking at the matchup, in general, the Cavs do have a good defense, but one area in which they struggle is specifically against the opposing team's guards. Now, technically, Jrue Holiday is listed as the point guard and Derek White as the shooting guard. They split a lot of the actual point guard duties. And honestly, Derek White is more of a true point guard than Jrue Holiday is. So there isn't a clear split between the two in terms of role as of shooting guard and point guard. If anything, Derek White's more of the point guard. The reason why I bring that up is because the Cavs defense allows the 5th most points per game specifically to point guards, which is going to be Derek White, presumably, and most often. And that's despite the fact that the Cavs do have a good scoring defense overall. 5 of the last 6 point guards against the Cavs have gone over their point total over under. So it's a matchup play. It's also a play just on how good Derek White is and how good he has been as our 3rd pick of the evening. And lastly, 4th and final pick of the slate in the Nuggets versus Bulls game. We're taking Jokic, 30 plus points, plus 100 odds at FanDuel. So for our last play, we're hoping we can get Jokic to come out of this slump that he's in from a scoring perspective. Not saying he's been terrible, because he hasn't, but he hasn't been scoring as much, as evidenced by the fact that he's gone under 30 points in 4 of his last 5 games, including 3 straight. And in all 4 of those games, he actually didn't even score more than 25 points. So it's definitely been a cold streak, again, just from a scoring perspective. Now, prior to this 5-game stretch, he had scored 30 or more points in 4 straight games. And it's actually the 2nd time this year that he's done that. He's had 2 separate occasions where he scored 30 plus points in 4 straight games. That just hasn't been the case recently. Now, last game, he at least shot well from the field. That was an issue previously. Last game against the Hawks, he went 9 of 13 from the field. He just didn't shoot a lot, so he didn't get the 30 points. But prior to that, in all 3 games that he went under, he did not shoot above 50% from the field. That includes 2 disgusting performances where he shot 9 of 32 from the field against the Clippers, and then followed that up with a 9 of 26 performance against the Rockets. With how good Jokic is and how good he is generally on those high percentage looks down low, I am betting that Jokic is going to come out of his slump because he's simply too good of a player to continue to play this bad. That's kind of what we're looking at here, as evidenced by the fact that, again, 2 separate occasions this year, he scored 30 or more points in 4 straight games. I'm also not scared off of him being on a back-to-back, which the Nuggets are. The last time we saw Jokic play on the second half of a back-to-back, he scored 36 points against the Kings. Looking at the matchup against the Bulls, their defense is not good. They're the 21st ranked defense according to NBA in terms of net rating. Now, they're more middle of the pack in terms of just scoring just points allowed because they play at such a slow pace. But even with that, Jokic should be able to feast in this matchup, hopefully cashing our fourth and final pick for this video. And that's all we got. 4 plays for you guys to lock in. If we can get 2 of the 4, we will at least be profitable, but we're looking to get all 4. If you're riding with me, make sure to comment and let me know. Other than that, like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Helps me out a ton. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.